Hello students, today we'll study another chapter from your class 11 syllabus. The name of the chapter is Landscape of the Soul and it is written by Nathalie Truver. This chapter is from your book Hornbill. Now this chapter talks about the different sorts of paintings. It mainly focuses on Chinese painting. So it is believed in 8th century in China there was a painter by the name of Wu Daozi. He was requested by the Tang Emperor Xuanzong to paint a landscape to decorate a palace wall. Now, there is dynasties in China, just like we have Mughal dynasty, Gupta dynasty. In India, similarly, there were a lot of dynasties in China, and one of them was Tang dynasty, and its Emperor Xuanzong asked Wu Daozi to paint a painting for his palace wall. The emperor admired the wonderful landscape which was created by Wu Daozi. It had many forests, mountains, waterfalls, clouds, men and birds. Then the painter asked the king to look in a cave at the foot of the mountains. Now, the moment the king looked at the cave, the painter clapped his hands and suddenly the cave opened. The painter entered the cave. He said it is very beautifully painted from inside and I would like to show you the cave from inside. But the entrance, the moment the painter entered, the entrance closed behind him. The emperor was astonished. What happened? Where did the Wu Daozi go? But the painting vanished from the wall along with Wu Daozi the moment the painter entered inside the painting. Not a sign of Wu Daozi's brush was left. The artist was never seen again. This was his last painting. The painting is gone, but the artist has reached his goal, his final destination, and is beyond any material experience. Just imagine such a beautiful painting it created that you can actually get inside the painting and you can experience the entire stuff. So it was the best form of painting ever can be created by any artist. Now, similar sort of story is heard in China. There is another Chinese painter who would not draw the eye of the dragon he had painted. So he had painted a dragon. It was very beautiful dragon. It was so realistic that he believed that if I paint the eye, the dragon will fly back. So he believed, he feared the dragon would fly out of the painting. And such stories were common in China. Now it talks about a Flemish, similar sort of story in Flemish, which is believed in 15th century Antwerp. There was a very skilled blacksmith. You know who's a blacksmith who create things out of out of iron and all. For example, have you seen horseshoe nails, ghode ki naal? So his name was he was a blacksmith. His name was Quinton Metzes, and he fell in love with a very famous painter's daughter. Now he knew that his father-in-law is such a famous painter and we would never approve of their marriage. So one day when the painter had gone away, he went to the painter's studio and painted a small fly on the table. Now the moment the painter returned, he thought it to be the fly was so realistic that he thought it to be real and tried to shoo it away. So when he came to know, when he realized that the matter that this is not a real fly but it is just a painted fly, he was very impressed. He took Quinton as an apprentice that this person without any formal education, if he can create such wonders, if given formal education, he will become a best painter anybody can think of. So later he went on to become one of the most famous painters of his age and he was able to marry his beloved. Now, this is the difference between European paintings and Chinese paintings. The European paintings aim at a perfect illusionistic likeness. The painter wants the beholders to look at a particular landscape from a specific angle. That is exactly as he saw it. They want to see they don't want to see your viewpoint. They want to see the painting from their angle, what they want to show. While the Chinese paintings stress on the essence of inner life and spirit, they give their heart and soul to the painting. For example, the dragon was so realistic as if it will fly out of the painting only. So the painter does not want a single viewpoint. He wants the viewer to enter anything from wherever he wants to, and you can have different interpretations of his painting. Then in this chapter, there is a mention of Shanshui. Now, Shanshui means mountain water. In this is an example of a Shanshui painting. You can see mountain and water. The mountain represents the vertical part, that is the yang, and the the water represents the yin, that is the horizontal part. Now here's the difference between yang and yin. Yang is known while yin is unknown. Yang is order, while yin on the other hand is chaos. Yang, obviously mountain is masculine. It represents all the male energy, while yin represents the female energy. Yang represents the day, while yin represents the night. Yang represents the known and yin represents the unknown. So there is another difference that you can see from the yang and yin. Yang talks about the sunlight, the day, while yin represents the moon, which comes at night. Obviously, the sun is hot, the yin is cold. Yang, the male is hard, while yin is soft. The sun is very bright, while the night is dark. Day is white, night is black. Yang is full, while yin is empty. And yang, the males are very active, while females are passive. Yangs are very positive, while female keep thinking of negative energy. Yang talks about odd numbers, and yin talk about even numbers. And there's another third element which is called the middle void, where the interaction between the yin and yang takes place, and this third element is creative. This third element is known as the middle void. Now this third element can be compared with the yogic practice of pranayam. Have you seen what is pranayam? You breathe in, you retain your breath, and then you breathe out. This time when the breath is inside you, when you're retaining it, when you not breath out, so that is known as it is the void where the meditation occurs. So suspension of breath is the void. So when you can interact with the cosmic world outside, you can talk about the heaven. So that is known as pranayam, when you are connecting with a world which is beyond your reach. So here it talks about the cosmic trinity. The three elements of the cosmic trinity are heaven at the above, the man which is in the middle, and the earth which is the down. So these are the three. Man through pranayam, through meditation, can reach the heaven. Otherwise you can continue to stay on the earth. Now, there was a French painter by the name of Jean Dubuffet who first created the concept of art brut. Now, if somebody asks you what is art brut, so art brut also means raw art or outsider art. It is a creation of all the artists who have received no formal training in art, yet they show talent. For example, suppose if you do not have fine arts as a subject and you draw something, so that kind of art is known as art brut, because you don't have any formal training in education in art, yet you are able to draw something. So that is art brut. It is a form of modern art. You can see this is a kind of art brut. You can see 4 pair of eyes, 4 mouths, 3 nose, 3 ears, a person wearing a hat, a tie, and a coat. According to me, this person is probably, it means that you believe in seeing more rather than hearing, because he has 4 pair of eyes and 3 pairs of ears. You can interpret it in any form that you want to. Now, uh, you can see this outsider art in India. The work of 80-year-old Nek Chand is the biggest contribution to outsider art. This is Nek Chand, and this is the outsider art that he has created. He has made a garden sculpted with sewn and recycled material. This is the world famous rock garden at Chandigarh. So if you've never been to Chandigarh, whenever you get a chance to visit, please visit this rock garden. It's a beautiful place where everything right from scratch is created from something which is recycled, something which is from waste material. It has been created. You can see such beautiful figures. This is probably the plates which have been broken down, and these have been used to create such beautiful figures. Now, this is the painting, The Women in Waterfall. So, UK-based magazine featured Nek Chand and his rock garden sculpture Women by the Waterfall on its anniversary issue cover. His art is testimony to what a man can make when he lives his dream. See, he was 80-year-old and he created such a beautiful garden at that age. And it's so that too out of waste material. Really impressive. Now these are the figures I wanted to show you which are there in rock garden. You can see these monkeys which have been created. These are deer or dogs. These are horses which have been created, and beautiful women which have been created out of, again, waste material. Nek Chand says that walking through the garden and making people admire his work is his biggest reward. So what actually thrills him is the fact that once people come to a rock garden, They admire whatever he has been created. That is his biggest reward. He just did it for this sake. He wants his art to be remembered forever. So I hope you understood the chapter. If you like this video, please do like, share, or subscribe. Happy learning.